Alrighty, let's keep building our TT-02.
Right. Now on to the back one, the back diff. Just if you're not sure which way to go, mount it, just line it up like the instruction shows. Once again, our two 1280 bearings. It's on the same. Okay, and just check your drive shaft. Make sure everything's nice and smooth, which this one is. Now we get to the rear upper arms. Once again, we need our arm bag. The smaller of the ones on the end, that's your lower one there. Upper one's over here. And we'll need the other upper arm holder. Okay, so that part of the arm at the back. Same on the other side. And then we need our other shock tower. Same thing, a little bit of grease. On the two mounts. On the sides, check they're moving, yep. And we need our two 3x10 screws. You might be wondering, how can I be sure I've got the right screw? I should have shown you this at the very start. Here there's a screw diagram. When you put the screw on there, it's the same size. So you can always check that you're using the right length screw because it will be there in on the instructions. Also, sorry about the light, everyone. I haven't got any decent lights yet that are easy enough to set up. So I was just hoping it would be a nice sunny day, and the sun is going in and out behind clouds now, which weren't there earlier when I started this video. There's both upper arms done. Alright, now we're moving on to the motor. There's nothing special, just a standard silver can. This black tube is just for protection. Just pulls off. Don't need that. Use your dust protector, dust cover. This stops dirt coming from these holes, the bigger holes, into the drivetrain. It fits on there rather firmly, so you can line up the motor holes so it doesn't, you don't have to realign it later. You will need, you want this motor mount down here with the big holes, not this little one here. And the other option part I'm going to use right now, and I could use the adjustable motor mount, but for doing this one I'm going to leave with the standard plastic mount because there is nothing wrong with it, especially for the standard motor. It's perfectly fine. But I'm going to install the larger pinion gear that I got, just because I know that in standard form for me it's very slow. For a newcomer, it's a really good speed to get you used to driving before you go faster. So I'm using a proper hex tool, just because it's much easier than using the standard ones. So what I'm going to have to do now is look, and when you look around here you'll see the different positions for 25 teeth, which is what I've got, which is the furthest one at the side here. Now, as the instructions say, the side you want to look at has these two markings down the side. The other side doesn't have them, it's just flat. So that's the side you know that you have to use to mount to the motor. I'm going sideways there. Just screw it in. You don't want to do all the way until you've got both of them in, because it is easy to get it a little bit when you tighten it down for the mount to move just to the side, and then you won't be able to really fight to get the second one in. So just do it loose first and then tighten them both up when you've got them both in. And you want to go find your flat spot on your motor. Basically down as far as that the Allen key is flush. It's generally about the right spot. And just to check, as we're now going to put it in, set the motor in, and it's pretty close. Actually, I'm going to take that out just a little bit. It's just a little sitting a little bit back on the spurgy. Just there, and now that's fully on the spurgy. So that'll do for that. Now we need our gear cover. So this nice big piece here, and that will just sit over the whole assembly. Don't know if I missed anything there, hopefully not. If I'm trying to do this by yourself, can't watch the camera and build at the same time, it's yeah, not the easiest. So you want your two little battery holders, come off the B parts. At opposite ways, one goes in, one goes out, with another pair of 3x10s. Okay, now we're up to the lower arms, the back ones. Turn the chassis upside down. We are going to want A9, which is this part here. Rear arms, lower arms. Right, so if these parts, over here on one side you'll see the light works, there is Tamiya written. You want that towards the inside of the chassis. That will go inside there on both sides. And then A9 holds that all together. And we need one of our bumpers, these big guys. So it covers on there. We'll need our first of our flathead 3x10s. And two of our 3x15s. Once again, having instructions there to check makes everything very, very simple. Our two lower front arms. This time the Tamiya writing goes to the front of the chassis. Then we'll put grease where the Tamiya writing on the end that the Tamiya writing isn't on. Also need to put our last 2 balls in there. And it's very easy to do anytime. And our front bumper. Okay, now we can turn over the page and get onto our front steering knuckles. So for that, I want these two, this one, right. We go back to our tree with the drive shafts. We're going to need both, well, for the front one, 2 of our little drive shafts, and we're going to need the 2 with the thread on them. While we're here, might as well get the little ones off because we will be putting them in very soon. So what we do is get one of the ones with the thread. We'll get one of our 10x5 bearings and simply push it into the hub. Now we're going to need a 10 here. As well as a 6, which is the one up here. This is to adjust your front ride height, whether you want it rally or race or road setup. Put our chassis back in. First thing, let's put our drive cups in. Just turn them around till you find the spot where they drop in, and then I'll put a bit of grease on each end of the dog bone. Not heaps and heaps, but enough to make sure it's over the pins, and a little bit on the plastic in the middle. Take one of our hubs, doesn't matter which one, the universal, left and right. And we're just going to put the drive shaft in, line up those plastic eyelets, and away you go. So for normal front ride height, I'm going to use the C6, the taller one, to go over that up to bag B. The steering knuckles actually use these hex screws. They've still got a Phillips head in the middle. They've got a hex around the outside, so you can use small end of the Tamiya tool to do them up. I actually have the tool driver to do this, to make sure you don't over tighten them because it's easy to strip them out. The same on the bottom. Put that thin plastic washer on. So be careful you don't over tighten these. Right, there's one on. And repeat to the other side. Okay, that's the front end done. Now onto the back. We need our other tree of drive shafts. As well as our 2 dog bones. We'll also need our 2 rear hub carriers. Same as the front. 1 bearing. Push it on. Next step, our outdrives in to the diffs. We'll also need 4 screw pins. These are going to go with the long side, this bit down. The drive shaft in, just line up the 2. That's the rear drive shafts done. Now next step is the shock absorbers. Well, the spring holders. You'll need all 4 of the bodies, 2 well, they spring basically height adjusters, the clips that hold it all together, the bottom part of the shock, and the caps. So I'll make up these 2 on the camera, and then I'll just quickly make up the other 2, even they are very quick to build. So first of all, you want your body with the little groove in it. Put that in there. You need a little lock. Basically presses in over it, holds them 2 together. Okay. Use a spring holder on there. Get a spring. Bottom part of the shock. You see the eyelets there. So you want this one on a basically 45-degree angle. Twist it like you would a light bulb, and it stays in there. That's it. And repeat on the other side. Alright, so that's all 4 shocks built now. Let's start with the front. You want 8 of your instep screws. There's these little guys. Be careful because there is 2 that are longer that are used for the steering. You want the shorter ones and leave the 2 longer ones for the steering. Start on the bottom one so you can lift it up easy. It's just easier to put the screw in there. Lift your arm up. So you don't even have to lift it up. You want to go in the top of the 2 screw holes they give you. And do the top one. one done. And same thing, top of the lower arm, the top mounting hole. Two more shocks done. I think so we'll leave it for this one. Be sure to tune in next time to see the end of the build. Until then, take it easy.